swiftly by targeting a highly rated Brazilian talent. Arsenal kept a low profile during the winter transfer window, choosing not to add new signings after a summer spree that saw them invest over £200 million to strengthen both quality and squad depth. While Arsenal suffered a major setback, with Mikel Merino ruled out for the remainder of the season, the club believe they have enough midfield cover to absorb the blow. Despite briefly considering a free transfer return for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Mikel Arteta ultimately resisted the temptation to make a short-term fix, trusting the depth already in place. That depth was assembled specifically to handle injuries, so a quiet January window came as little surprise. Financial fair play considerations also played a role in Arsenal's cautious approach. Attention is now shifting toward the summer, where recruitment plans will be shaped around a potential Premier League title defence. At the same time, Arsenal are increasingly focused on long-term strategy, aiming to move away from inflated fees for established stars and instead invest earlier in emerging talents. Chelsea's aggressive pursuit of South American prospects over the past 18 months has not gone unnoticed, and reports suggest Arsenal are now ready to follow a similar path. According to Court Offside, the Gunners are monitoring Corinthians midfielder Bruno Biden. Despite being just 20 years old, the Brazilian has already surpassed 100 senior appearances. Sources claim Arsenal are firmly involved and have begun preliminary work on a possible deal. Corinthians are under no pressure to sell due to a €100 million release clause, but they are expected to demand at least €30 million, around £26.1 million, this summer. Barcelona are also reportedly interested. The midfielder is contracted until 2029 and has registered 2 goals in 7 matches early in the Brazilian season. Arsenal transfer latest: Julian Alvarez interest grows amid busy summer planning. Arsenal face Sunderland in the Premier League this weekend as speculation continues to build around potential summer signings. Competing on multiple fronts, the club could end the campaign with long-awaited silverware, while off-the-pitch preparations for the upcoming transfer window are already underway. Fresh from reaching the Carabao Cup final, Arsenal hold a 6-point lead at the top of the Premier League and top their Champions League group. Arteta opted against major January reinforcements, confident in the strength and depth of his squad. That said, Arsenal did secure long-term prospects late in the window and have already been linked with a blockbuster summer move. One of the standout names is Atletico Madrid forward Julian Alvarez, who has emerged as a serious target. The Argentine is valued at around £87 million, with reports from Spain claiming both Arsenal and Chelsea are aggressively pursuing his signature. Despite Premier League interest, Alvarez is said to favour a move to Barcelona. However, the Catalan club's ongoing financial difficulties could give Arsenal an advantage, especially with Barcelona reluctant to meet Atletico's valuation. Their situation is further complicated by Robert Lewandowski nearing the end of his current contract. Elsewhere, Arsenal confirmed the signing of St Mirren teenager Evan Mooney on deadline day. The 18-year-old winger joined alongside Stoke City youngster Jadon Dixon in a move that included add-ons and sell-on clauses. Mooney made 23 senior appearances for St Mirren, and manager Stephen Robinson joked that he had attempted to include Arsenal defender Gabriel Magalhaes in the deal. "I thought I'd negotiated an unbelievable agreement for the club," Robinson said. "The initial proposal was a loan with an option to buy, but I was pushing for Gabriel in return. Sadly, that part didn't quite happen." Arsenal and Manchester City warned as title verdict casts doubt on rivals. The Premier League title race remains wide open, with Arsenal currently leading the way, but a former Manchester City defender believes not every team in the mix should be taken seriously. Despite Arsenal sitting in pole position, questions have been raised over whether some challengers were ever true contenders. Aston Villa, who endured a miserable start to the campaign, have mounted an impressive recovery and now sit just 7 points behind the leaders. However, their momentum took a hit in their most recent outing, suffering a home defeat to Brentford. Between November and December, Villa put together an 8-match winning run in the league, a surge that led some to place them in the title conversation. Alongside them, Arsenal and Manchester City are widely viewed as the strongest remaining challengers, though with 14 games still to play, the race is far from settled. Former City and Villa defender Joleon Lescott has dismissed Villa's credentials, insisting he never viewed Unai Emery's side as genuine title contenders. Lescott highlighted concerns over their ability to maintain consistency during the decisive run-in. "I'm not sure they can put together 5 wins in a row at the business end of the season," he said. "I don't know if they have that level of strength. Manchester City and Arsenal do." Interestingly, Villa manager Unai Emery appears to share a similar outlook. After a 2-0 away victory over Newcastle United last month, the Spaniard was asked whether he believed his team were truly in the title race, offering a measured response that downplayed expectations. Real Madrid eye midfield overhaul as Vitinha emerges as dream target. Elsewhere, Real Madrid are closely monitoring several high-profile midfielders as they plan a major rebuild in the coming years. Liverpool's Alexis Mac Allister and Chelsea's Enzo Fernandez are both on the club's radar, while Arsenal's Martin Zubimendi has also been linked in the past. Midfield reinforcement is expected to be a top priority for Madrid ahead of the summer of 2026. Former manager-in-waiting Xabi Alonso had previously pushed for Zubimendi's arrival in 2025, before the Spanish international opted for a move to Arsenal from Real Sociedad. Although Madrid remain admirers of Zubimendi, his recent comments suggested he has no intention of leaving the Emirates Stadium anytime soon. Meanwhile, sources indicate that Mac Allister is being closely tracked, while transfer insider Dean Jones reports that Madrid also hold an interest in Fernandez, though Chelsea would only consider a sale for a substantial fee. According to ESPN, Madrid's ultimate ambition is to sign Vitinha from Paris Saint-Germain. ESPN correspondent Alex Kirkland described the Portuguese midfielder as Madrid's ideal solution, citing the lack of a clear successor to Toni Kroos and Luka Modric. "Vitinha would be the dream signing," Kirkland said, "but Madrid know how difficult it is to prize a player away from PSG. Just look at what happened with Mbappé. Still, that's the level of player they need now." Vitinha, who is under contract until 2029, is currently performing at the peak of his powers and recently won the Champions League with PSG. Given the club's growing dominance in European football, there is little expectation that they would entertain offers for one of their most important players. Latest Real Madrid transfer updates. In other developments, Real Madrid have reportedly softened their stance on Ibrahima Konate, who is entering the final months of his contract at Liverpool. The club have also identified a Liverpool midfielder as a more affordable alternative to Enzo Fernandez. Finally, a Tottenham Hotspur player is said to be pushing for an exit at the end of the season, with Real Madrid among the clubs monitoring the situation. Real Madrid line up bold double move for Liverpool duo as transfer stance shifts. Real Madrid are reportedly preparing an ambitious double swoop for 2 Liverpool players this summer, with one long-standing target back on their shortlist and another Reds prodigy allegedly spotted at the Santiago Bernabeu. The Spanish giants have a recent history of capitalizing on Liverpool contract situations, having already lured Trent Alexander-Arnold away from Anfield last summer following the expiration of his deal. Now, Madrid are said to be exploring a similar strategy once again. Entering a transitional phase following the departure of Xabi Alonso, Real Madrid are currently operating under interim head coach Alvaro Arbeloa. While the long-term managerial picture remains unclear and President Florentino Perez continues to weigh up his options, recruitment plans for the upcoming transfer window are already well underway behind the scenes. Madrid rethink stance on Ibrahima Konate. Ibrahima Konate has once again emerged as a serious consideration for Real Madrid, with his unresolved contract situation putting the club on high alert. The centre-back's current deal runs out at the end of the season, and Madrid are reportedly reconsidering a potential free transfer move. Back in December, several trusted outlets claimed Madrid had cooled their interest in Konaté, satisfied with the performances of Dean Huijsen and Eder Militao. However, Huijsen's form has since dipped, while Militao has struggled with further injury issues, prompting a reassessment. According to fresh reports from Spain, Madrid remain keen on Konaté, but only if he is willing to reduce his salary demands. Signing a new centre-back is one of Madrid's objectives for the summer, said ESPN Madrid correspondent Rodra. They are closely tracking players nearing the end of their contracts, and Liverpool's Konaté is among them. His wage expectations previously ruled Madrid out, but if those demands come down, he could become an option again. Liverpool have not abandoned hope of securing a contract extension, though time is increasingly tight. Another decisive meeting with Konaté's representatives has reportedly been scheduled. Real Madrid also tracking Liverpool academy gem. Alongside Konaté, Real Madrid are believed to be closely monitoring Liverpool's 15-year-old academy standout, Josh Abe. The highly rated youngster has been playing above his age group this season, starring in the Under-18 Premier League and recently making his debut in the UEFA Youth League at Under-19 level. Concerns have emerged at Anfield after Abe switched representation and is now managed by PLG Agency, which includes Trent Alexander-Arnold's brother Tyler among its key figures. The agency also represents several senior and academy-level players across Europe. Liverpool correspondent Lewis Steele of the Daily Mail suggested the Reds could face a battle to retain Abe amid growing interest from elite clubs, including Real Madrid. It was notable to see 15-year-old Joshua Abe make his youth league debut off the bench, becoming the youngest Liverpool player to do so in that competition, Steele wrote. As previously reported, Abe has a long list of suitors and has now joined PLG Agency, which represents top players such as Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson. He is believed to have rejected other high-profile agencies and was recently spotted at Real Madrid's Santiago Bernabeu. Chelsea set huge price for Enzo Fernandez. Elsewhere, Real Madrid's transfer ambitions have reportedly hit resistance from Chelsea. Spanish outlet Mundo Deportivo claims the Premier League club will demand at least €100 million, £87 million, for Enzo Fernandez, with the figure potentially rising to €120 million. Given Chelsea paid around £107 million to secure Fernandez, Madrid would need to commit to another major outlay to land the Argentine midfielder. Despite the steep valuation, Real Madrid's interest is described as genuine, though whether a deal is financially viable remains uncertain.